Ladies and gentlemen, gather around as we delve into the fascinating and tumultuous life of one of the most infamous outlaws of the American Old West, Black Ketchum. Born in an era where the frontier was a lawless and dangerous place, Ketchum's life story is a mix of adventure, crime, and ultimately, a tragic end. From his early days to his notorious crimes and his dramatic death, this is the tale of Black Ketchum. Thomas Edward Ketchum, who would later become notorious as Black Ketchum, was born on October 31, 1863, in San Saba County, Texas. He was the youngest of 8 children in a family that faced many hardships. His father, Greenberry Ketchum, was a farmer and cattleman, but he died when Thomas was just 5 years old. The Ketchum family struggled to make ends meet, and young Thomas grew up in a rough environment, often exposed to the harsh realities of frontier life. Thomas's upbringing was marked by hard work and minimal education. The Ketchum children had to help on the family farm, and formal schooling was a luxury they could rarely afford. As a result, Thomas developed a strong, independent streak and a taste for adventure. These qualities would later lead him down a path of lawlessness and infamy. Thomas Ketchum's transition from a struggling farm boy to a notorious outlaw began in the late 1880s. Along with his older brother Sam, Thomas drifted into a life of crime, initially engaging in cattle rustling, a common but dangerous occupation in the Old West. Cattle rustling involved stealing livestock and selling them, often far from where they were stolen, to avoid detection. The brothers soon expanded their criminal activities, joining a gang of outlaws known as the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang, which operated out of the rugged Hole-in-the-Wall Pass in Wyoming. This gang was a loose coalition of criminals who found refuge in the natural fortress provided by the pass. It was here that Thomas Ketchum began to gain a reputation as a daring and ruthless outlaw. It was during his time with the Hole-in-the-Wall Gang that Thomas Ketchum acquired the nickname Black Jack. The exact origin of this moniker is somewhat murky. Some historians suggest that it was due to his dark complexion and hair, while others believe it was a reflection of his dark and ruthless nature. Regardless of its origin, the nickname stuck, and Black Ketchum became a name feared throughout the region. One of the most infamous aspects of Black Ketchum's criminal career was his involvement in train robberies. The late 19th century saw a surge in train robberies as the expanding railroad network became a prime target for outlaws seeking quick and lucrative scores. Ketchum and his gang were no exception. On August 10, 1899, Ketchum and his gang attempted to rob a Colorado and Southern train near Folsom, New Mexico. This robbery did not go as planned. During the heist, a gunfight erupted between the outlaws and the train's guards. Ketchum was seriously injured, taking a bullet to the arm. The gang managed to escape, but Ketchum's injury would have significant consequences for his criminal career. In a desperate bid to survive, Ketchum sought medical help, but his injury was severe, and he was eventually captured by law enforcement. This marked the beginning of the end for Black Ketchum. After his capture, Ketchum was taken to the small town of Clayton, New Mexico, to stand trial. His condition deteriorated rapidly due to his untreated wound, and he was in a weakened state throughout the legal proceedings. Nevertheless, he faced the charges with the same defiance that had marked his criminal career. The trial of Black Ketchum drew significant attention, both for the notoriety of the accused and the unique circumstances of his crimes. In a controversial decision, Ketchum was charged with felonious assault upon a railway train, a crime that carried the death penalty in New Mexico Territory. It was the first time this particular law had been applied in such a case, and it set a precedent for future train robbery prosecutions. Black Ketchum was sentenced to death by hanging, and his execution was scheduled for April 26, 1901. The event attracted a large crowd, eager to witness the demise of the infamous outlaw. However, the execution would become one of the most gruesome and botched hangings in the history of the American West. The gallows in Clayton were hastily constructed, and the rope used for the hanging was improperly measured. When the trapdoor was released, the fall was too long, resulting in Ketchum's decapitation. The grisly scene shocked the onlookers and became a macabre part of Western folklore. The life and death of Black Jack Ketchum left an indelible mark on the history of the American Old West. He embodied the violent and lawless spirit of the era, and his story serves as a reminder of the harsh realities faced by those who lived on the frontier. Ketchum's crimes and dramatic demise have been immortalized in books, movies, and folklore, cementing his place as one of the most notorious outlaws of his time. His life story continues to captivate those interested in the history of the Old West, offering a glimpse into a world where danger and adventure were a part of everyday life. In the annals of Western history, Black Jack Ketchum stands out as a symbol of the lawless frontier. From his humble beginnings in Texas to his violent career as an outlaw, and ultimately his gruesome end, Ketchum's life is a testament to the wild and untamed spirit of the American West. While his actions were undoubtedly criminal, they also reflect the desperation and harsh conditions faced by many during this tumultuous period. As we look back on the life of Black Jack Ketchum, we are reminded of the complexities and contradictions that defined the Old West and the enduring legacy of its most infamous characters.